Neerja Chowdhury joining us as well this morning, political commentator and columnist. Neerja, good morning. No surprises today, but I think it's the larger implications of this that everyone's wondering about, with AAP not only looking like it's set to take over the capital, but the fact that, throughout the states, we've started to see that saffron wave receding.
Yeah, I think that's true. In the last just over a year, the BJP has lost 6 states. If we start with the Hindi heartland states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, then in Maharashtra they lost out Jharkhand and Delhi. Aam Aadmi Party is all set to retain Delhi. Now Delhi is a half state, but the importance of Delhi goes way beyond the 7 Lok Sabha seats or the 70 Vidhan Sabha seats, because it is going to determine the basis on, it might determine the basis on which people may vote. There is a tendency of people to vote in the states towards parties other than the BJP, even as the BJP won a very resounding 303 Lok Sabha seats in the summer of 2019. So wherever there is an alternative, a clear leader faced, an alternative narrative, people are looking at that alternative. And will the politics of Bijli, Pani, school, health be decisive? Even politicians and political parties tell you privately, even if you do work, in the ultimate analysis, people get swayed by the caste factor, the religion factor, the emotional issues. But if Delhi has withstood that, and the BJP's rhetoric, poll narrative was all around the CAA, Shaheen Bagh, national security, Hindu-Muslim, India-Pakistan, those kind of emotion-swaying issues. If the Delhi Janta has really trumped that and stuck to the basic issues, then will we see more of that in the coming elections in the states, and will we see the beginning of a new politics which focuses on the basics. So I think the importance of Delhi is also that. Then let's see how Arvind Kejriwal now moves on the national scene in the whole, and on the high table of the opposition parties and opposition leaders. Many implications will be there, but I must say also that the BJP put up a very good fight. About a month ago, they were those tracking on a daily basis saw the BJP really slump way down below its core vote bank, and the way it picked itself up, of course, it was a new low in terms of the language use. Resorting to the language of goli, not boli. And I think that became beyond a point counterproductive for it. Though I think it has through sheer hard work with its ministers, 70 ministers going to colonies, going to people's homes, distributing the parchas, and the well-oiled machinery coming into its own, as we know it does during elections. So I think it is not a wash, doesn't look like at this moment a complete washout for the BJP. It's the Congress has got completely squeezed out.
Absolutely. Even right now, the trends are indicating a 0 for Congress. But Neerja, purely in terms of the numbers, how is it that they are adding up? Is Delhi critical in terms of the count in Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha for bills and policies and reforms to be able to push through? Because from a market perspective, that's all that matters.
I think Delhi, of course, as I say, because it's the country's capital, its influence goes way beyond. It will influence the politics of other opposition parties. It may give an impetus to opposition unity in the coming election. Very important elections are down the road in Bihar this year, in West Bengal next year, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab. Lots of elections, as you know, are coming up in the next 2 years. But as far as reforms are concerned, there'll be, if the opposition is able to exercise a check, then it does have a bearing on the kind of policies that the BJP will be able to do or not do. And ultimately, as you know and I know, it is the economy that's going to matter. Whether they're able to get a grip over the situation, whether they're able to generate a demand in the economy. So far, analysts have not been very hopeful that this is going to happen, despite Nirmala Sitharaman's sort of efforts through the budget. So I think ultimately joblessness is going to hurt people, farmers' plight is going to hurt people, and all this will have a bearing on the reforms, the kind of reforms that the government is able to undertake or not able to undertake. Okay.
In the last few state elections, there's been such a slugfest, Neerja, and it's been a battle to the finish line. Whereas in contrast, while we of course had all the fists out, it does seem to have been a no contention result, or so to speak, as we can see so far. So, what does this really mean in terms of the power for the BJP going forward from here? Does it diminish at all? Do they, given that we don't have one singular party necessarily that's come up as a strong opposition, but definitely more localized results?
I think that is good news for the BJP. Had the Congress begun to revive and Congress becomes a centerpiece of a larger opposition, that's a danger signal for the BJP. If you have small parties gaining ground in the states, the BJP will be able to ride that, because let's be very clear, the BJP has competitors at the state level, it does not have a competitor at the national level. And even the Delhi people, while you talk to them, they said we want Modi in Delhi, the big Delhi, and Kejriwal in the small Delhi, because Kejriwal has delivered. He is expected to do more. He won their confidence, and so it's the kind of leadership. And BJP did not have any leader, no chehra to take on Kejriwal in Delhi. And Amit Shah led the charge, but neither Amit Shah nor Narendra Modi were going to be the CMs, and that was very clear to the people of Delhi. But coming back to the slugfest that you talked about, this time I have covered politics now for 3 to 4 decades. I don't remember the kind of rhetoric going down to this level. Very divisive. And I think whether the BJP will introspect, on this, because if you have a contentious India, if you have a divisive politics of the kind we saw in recent days, if you have the possibility of violence breaking out, if you have injustice being felt by the minority community, the Muslims who are 200 million in this country, then you don't give a sense of confidence to the investor to come and invest here. They'd be very wary. And I think for the economic well-being, the prosperity of the country, the BJP should think about toning down its rhetoric, certainly toning down from what we saw in Delhi, which was very, very sad indeed.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Neerja. And yes, I think it's about time we saw a tone down of that rhetoric.